Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday night. I'm TU Nat, and I'm thrilled to be here with my good friend, Dr. Michael Gross.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Michael has a wonderful message to share with you tonight, and we keep this podcast to about 35 minutes. So if you have questions and comments, feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll also put his contact information there because we want to give Michael as much time as possible to send his message. He channels the message, so I don't interrupt him during his channeling. But just for those of you who are new and have never met Dr. Michael Gross, Dr. Michael Gross is an author, transformational coach, keynote speaker, and the author of The Spiritual Primer. He has a plethora of knowledge. He's been in the world of spirituality and metaphysics for several years, over 30 years, and he has so many things to offer us. But what I'd like to do is just put all that contact information in the comments so that you can go to his website. You can find we have many recorded sessions on his YouTube channel. So definitely go and jump in there. There's so many things that he's shared with us over the years. I believe Michael and I have been doing this now for at least 5 years, if not more. So I'm going to go ahead and put the comments in the chat and turn this over to Michael. He has a very powerful topic tonight. Take it away, Michael.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. This is going to be an exciting night. It's how your choices of today impact your future. And there's so many items I'd like to cover with you. We're going through a great transformation on this planet, more so than ever before. And I was thinking about my grandparents and parents, they saw the first flight of the airplane, and my grandparents, and then they went through World War II and Korea, and actually World War I as well. And then we had jet planes and rocket ships, and we went to the moon, and we sent out all these satellites and all these other things that are happening. But there's much more that is happening because we're going through a technological information age. And while that's very beautiful and very important, I want to discuss that with all of you this evening. And that is that we have certainly inalienable rights. And, if we look at it, they're natural rights. Some say they're God-given rights. I call it true source-given rights. But actually, they are freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from oppression, freedom of being forced to put people up at your house that you don't even know. You're innocent until proven guilty, and so on and so forth. And these are natural. But what is beginning to happen on our planet is that there are certain souls that are making judgments, so to speak. And within those judgments, a lot of it has to do with artificial intelligence and robotics. And the reason I'm saying that is because we are at a precipice at this time. And in our precipice at this time is we have to make important decisions. And these decisions have to be made politically and individually, more importantly for yourself. What direction in life do you desire to go into? What are you trying to accomplish in this life? And are you giving up your inalienable rights to make decisions and thoughts that are for you? Every thought is really powerful. Yeah, sometimes we end up with egg on our face. We're good at that. But we learn something new. And as the true sources told me years ago, there's no such thing as failure because you learned what worked and didn't work. But what is happening now, which is so important, is that we're losing our identity. And really, what is your identity? It's not whether you're an American or Frenchman or Italian or whatever. You're a human being. And you're a human being that came here to experience life. There may be some karma involved, which is nothing but an experience, but you're here to experience life and to make decisions because you gain knowledge from your decisions. Even if you end up with egg on your face, or maybe you're a little too early. Maybe what you're looking for now, 2, 3, 5, or 10 years later, yeah, I'm glad I did that because now it applies. So is it really a mistake? Is it really a loss? No, it isn't. But what we are facing now is we are giving up our right, and our right of not only freedom of speech, but to make decisions, to express ourselves. And expressing ourselves is to say what you feel. And that's all you need to do. Is it harmful to some people? listen, we can take exception to everyone. And if we go way back in time before we even reach this point where we are accused of being angry or upset or insulting someone, it's, years ago they went, you know, I don't want I don't want to go out to this party. Well, why? I don't like the people there. They're not too cool. Well, are you insinuating there's something wrong with them? Are you judgmental? Are you this or that? And all of a sudden, a big deal is made. Now we hear if you say something against what they're saying, you're judgmental, you're creating chaos, you're frightening them, they're going to commit suicide, all this malarkey. Well, that didn't happen 10, 20, 30 years ago. You express yourself. Sometimes it was very hurtful, like someone saying to you, I don't like you, I don't like what you do. And it was hurtful. But it was really positive because two things. One is that maybe you are that person and you ought to rethink it. Or number two, maybe that's just an excuse for them to not be in your life, which is a gift, because you don't want negative, judgmental people in your life. However, we do learn from judgmentalness, but we're at a precipice and we're at what I'm going to say, a figure of speech, a war. And I want to talk about a war, not about guns and killing each other, not that. It's an emotional war. It's a technology war. And you know what? It's okay to talk against someone because what is your really intent? And your intent is, I love everybody enough that I really desire for them to see what they are creating. So you can talk against someone and talk that way from a loving point of view, not from an aggressive, swear at them, curse at them, say all these things. But it's okay to express yourself, but always make it from love. So the conflict we're going to go through, you could call it a war or whatever, is are we going to be controlled by AI and robots? Are we going to give up our independence, freedom of thought, and be controlled and manipulated? Or are we going to have the freedom to express ourselves in a very loving way? When I watched the movie Saving Private Ryan, I went, oh my God, it looks so real. Everybody, every country who ever decided to go to war should watch that movie, the first half hour of it, see the human carnage on both sides. It was horrible. But now we have to be able to speak our piece. And how do you speak your piece? You really do it in a very loving way. But also, you ask for true inner source guidance or true soul guidance. So our humanness, which is a term that I heard Doug Braden use, and I really love the humanness. What does humanness really mean? For me, it means doing right action, expressing love, compassion, and understanding, but also not to be bullied, stood up to, or put down. And that's so important. I mean, it's so crazy. Like sometimes I admit I have a weird sense of humor. And long ago, I said to one of my clients who was talking about this phobic, that phobic, I said, yeah, I'm Italian subphobic. Oh, you hate Italians? You hate Italians? I said, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Why are you so serious? No, I love Italian sub, but even if I didn't, I have the right to say I don't like Italian subs. So what? Am I hurting the whole Italian world? No. Am I hurting people who like Italian subs? Well, if they do, they got a real problem because some people like subs. I've gone to restaurants and said, this is great. And they said, that's terrible. I'm a little hurt because they didn't enjoy it. But on the other hand, I'm glad they said that because I'll never take them there again. I'll find out for their birthday or somewhere else they'd like to go. So I'm not taking exception to it. I'm saying I've learned new knowledge. I'm empowering myself. And what are we doing with children? I just learned in one of the school systems where my grandchildren are. Notice I'm not naming it. And I said to them, well, what are you doing? What are you taking your computer to school? Because one is in 6th grade, one is in 10th grade. And they said, oh, when we take the courses, it's all pre-recorded and we just watch it on our computer. What? Yeah, well, what's the teacher do? Well, if we have a problem, otherwise they just sit there and make sure we're watching the right software program. Like what? Holy cow, what are we teaching the children? What are we taking away? Critical thinking, creativity, the point to be express themselves. And if they're watching this software program about whatever the subject is, it's just like a robot. But what's really happening, it's affecting their frontal cortex of their brain and brain of reasoning. They have found out those who are on the computer a lot, those who use their cell phones a lot, it's undeveloping their frontal cortex. And what happens is the gift of reasoning or the gift of compassion or the gift of being able to discern what they're saying, or creativity, inventiveness is beginning to diminish. So whose fault is it? It's your fault, my fault. It's all our fault for not speaking up. That's what's so important. And what are they teaching in schools today? To turn around and protest. They're turning around about all the other different situations going on with people. They're not talking about finding yourself and speaking yourself to be strong and research your missions and goals. What would you like to accomplish in life? The kids are being pre-programmed, and we are being pre-programmed to think a certain way. Now with AI, it's beautiful. You get a lot of information, but remember, AI does not think for itself. It only uses pre-recorded information that it picks up from the internet. Does it have a place? Absolutely, it has a place. Can you research certain things in it? Absolutely. But it must not be in control of your life, because you are in control of your life. Remember, you decided to be here. You chose this life. You chose this body. You chose this direction. And there's something called Moore's Law, which I was learning about. And that is Moore's Law. You can double like knowledge. You can keep doubling energy. You can doubling. But there's a certain point you can't double it anymore. And then when they examine how we use rational thought and watch the brain, they realize that when we reached a point, we doubled everything and we couldn't double it anymore. Guess what? We created a new neuron and synapses and new intelligence that could completely be expanding. Whereas with AI, it doesn't have the power to think for itself. So it becomes limited. And that's the danger, because we're not taught to think for ourselves. I know I'm sounding rather passionate, but I am, because I look at the future, and the future says, it's up to you. Do you want to be robotic? I do this for lunch. I do this for dinner. Or do you say, I'm going to be creative. I'm going to think I'm going to have dinner later in life, or later in life when I mean I'll skip dinner and maybe not have it until I'm 50s, or maybe I'll skip breakfast or whatever. And I'm going to listen to my body. What do I really want for breakfast? Not with the scientists and doctors. What does my body need? What does my body desire? I brought this up before. We're children, and I remember my wife was feeding babies food, and they had like chicken and potatoes and we'll say string beans all mashed, and they would eat it. And next day for lunch, she would try to give it. They wouldn't eat it. She'd get frustrated. And she would give them, instead of chicken, she would give them beef and corn and sweet potatoes or whatever it was. But you know why they didn't eat it? Because they were listening to their body. They knew intuitively, instinctively, what was healthy for them. And we've lost that. We've given that up to what scientists say is healthy. Is there some good knowledge about what's healthy? Absolutely. But you know what's healthiest? Listening to your body. And I think this morning I'll get up and I'll have 2 eggs and I'll have some toast with some jam, and maybe I'll throw in a sausage, or maybe I'll have some ham or whatever. And the next morning, I think I'll have some oatmeal. And the next morning, I think I'll have pancakes. Whatever it is, your body will tell you what you need. Why? Because you're a furnace. Your body's a furnace. You got to feed it. The old days, you use coal. They use wood. Now you feed it with natural gas or LP gas or with electricity, whatever. That's what you are. You are a beautiful, magnificent entity, created unlimitedly. There goes, you heard that one before. To be able to achieve anything in your life, to enjoy everything in your life. And what happens? We're in a rat race. We want this and we want that. I can't tell you how many friends are looking for new toy, new car, new boat, new this, new that, so on and so forth. And sometimes I'd fall prey to that because I'm human. And I bought one device that, I can take and season meat in a certain way, in a tumbler and bring about, if I want to create like pastrami, or I want to create a food that is injected with all kinds of different sauces or taste or cranberries or whatever. I only used it once. I forgot all about it. I can do this by hand. Why do I need this toy? It was fun at the time. But then I look at it in my closet, all the things I have. Holy cow, do I have all this stuff? My goodness. What the heck did I do? And it's like, wow, why do I have all this? Well, I felt I needed it. Who was I satisfying? My palate? No, me, to make myself feel good. And now I hardly use it or don't even use it. It's pretty amazing. My son was down to visit me a couple of years ago. He said, Dad, you got all these power tools. They plug into electric. Yeah. Why don't you get all battery operated? Oh, I have one or two. Well, why don't you do that? He said, it's so much easier and handier. Yeah, it is. But you know what? I didn't want to go into a discussion. You ever take out your power tool and you got two batteries and you go to use your drill and forgot to charge it? You take the other one out and you get 20 minutes because I forgot to charge it. So I extend an extension cord and I got my electric drill. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And what happens if you have a power outage? Good luck. But he's younger and he thinks this way. So I think this way. Am I old fashioned? Maybe, but it works for me. And, I appreciated his suggestion and it's really cool, but this is the way I feel. So am I old school? Yeah. But does it work for me? That's what's important. If I was on the woods building, a cabin or whatever, I'd have a generator. Why? Because I would need it to charge my battery or plug my drill in. See, these are the different things we have to think about. And then we think about so many things. I was at lunch with a friend of mine, and we're talking about the new modern cars today with all the computer chips. That's great. When the computer goes, $250 to $1,000 to replace a computer chip. Wow, the old days you put in points and plugs, if anybody remembers that. And it was really something to really do. And then we talk about, well, on the new cars today, the police can push a button and kill the engine. Well, that's a mixed review. Hey, that's pretty darn good. You can get a bandit or somebody that killed someone. On the other hand, maybe the police want to stop me for a reason I'm the wrong person and they kill my engine in my car and I could have an accident or something. Because you ever try to push your brakes when you don't have your engine running? Challenging. Or turn your wheels. It's challenging. Yeah, there are pros and cons to everything, but that's up for you to decide. It's up for you to decide what's right. The other item, the new cars today, when you stop at a light, the engine dies. Step on an accelerator, it starts up and you go. Boy, am I saving a lot of carbon. I don't know if you are or you're not. I really never looked at it. You're sure going to need to start a motor a lot earlier. And what about all the carbon that's in your fuel, not fuel lines, but in your muffler when you kill the engine, you start it. It's got to blow it out because it doesn't start gently. It blows it out and starts a little with a stronger vehement engine sound. At least it is. I'm struggling for words, but it blows it out. So really, what are we accomplishing? Well, as one of my good friends that I lived in the woods, and he came up as sheriff, and he said, they passed good feeling laws, Michael, that really don't really apply, but they feel good about it. And this is probably a statement I want to make, and I want you to all understand it. When I heard it, because I was listening to Cairo Radio, which is a 100,000 watt radio station, and they were talking about here in Washington passing a law, no gun zone. And so the commentator said, that's great. Where do you think the criminals are going to hang out? I went, gee, I never thought about that. So what are they really accomplishing? It feels good. So I don't want to get into the gun dispute or whatever, but how we all do foolish things. And then I remember seeing a sign in Florida, and the sign said, this is underwater, don't drive on this road. Oh, that's really great. I'm taking the road. I don't know the road. Don't know the signs underwater warning me. These are the foolish things we really do sometimes. They are so humorous. The most important thing, what I'm trying to share with all of you, is don't give up your ability and your free will to make a decision. Don't let AI own you, control you. Use it as a tool. It's no different as a tool than who we are older. went to the library and used Encyclopedia Britannica. That was a tool we used. Okay. And it's no different than sitting there today and taking a knife and slicing meat. And sometimes they have electric knives. Things change. Well, I tried electric knives. You want to know what? It's for the birds, but that's me. But getting back to the things that we're talking about, you have to preserve. You need and you should preserve your inalienable rights that I talked about. Free will and free choice. Your ability to say whatever you say, whatever you want to say, not in a hateful way, but expressing your truth and having the freedom of choice, freedom of religion, to be innocent till proven guilty, all the other laws that are there, the right to vote and so on and so forth. We really need to understand that. And we really need to understand all the laws and rules because they're so important. I just checked the time again. So all of you, think about what your future is. Speak up for limiting things so much. You know, I understand a lot of school systems are not teaching the kids cursive. Well, what are they doing? Well, you're on your computer, you just type it. Oh, so I'm going to sign a check and type it, and I can turn around and copy your printed signature to cash a check. Well, checks are, really outmoded. Well, I'm old school. Do I use checks? Probably 90% of the time. Have you ever been hacked? Because just recently I was. Have you ever had them turn around, not only hack your credit card, but hack you in different ways, your identity, and steal your identity? Yeah. Do you know what it is to change your credit card and all the things you do and notify everybody? What a pain in the tush. So is this really progress? What is it so much just to put a check in the mail? Do checks get stolen? Yeah, but far, far less than what's happening with all the AI and all the information we get. And AI is great. I call a number, push this number, this, push this number for that, push this number for this, push this number for that, push this number for this. Then you get on. What are you interested in? This. Are you interested in this? Push this number left. Then they say you got to be waiting for 25 minutes on the phone. During COVID, I actually was received, we will be with you in 2 hours. Goodbye. And it took me a week to finally get through. Is this progress? And what is so important, and which was pointed out, is they record your voice. So something had occurred, and they're recording my voice. And I heard from another one who's an expert with AI now, they can copy your voice, so they think it's you talking when you watch YouTube or Reels or whatever. Is it really a person, or is it something that is fake? Is it really true? You don't know anymore. So is this really progress? Is this really what's going to be happening? It's really doubt. It's so important for us to know that. And I remember one time I was in a dispute with a company over my cell phone bill. And they said, we're recording this, and it's recorded. I don't want to be recorded, but it's AI. So we're recording this. And I said, I don't want to be recorded. And they went, well, we can't tell you what the problem is. What do you mean you can't tell me? Unless we record it, we can't tell you. It's illegal. Nope, it's our policy. So I could go to court and win, but that'll take a long time. So what happened is I said, okay, I guess I have no choice. And I said, this recording is being done at duress. I heard a big sigh. It was for a few dollars. Like, really? To discover this minor little problem. You're giving up all your inalienable rights and freedom. And if we sit back and go, we got to speak up our piece, we really have to do that. And that's so important that we do that. And if we don't speak up, then we're going to lose our individuality. We'll just become a number. And long ago, I met people that were in the Holocaust. And I saw the number on their arm, and my heart went out, my tears in my eyes. And she was about 85, but a very, very happy woman. And I asked, why did they tattoo a number? And this is what I was told. The reason they tattooed a number is when they were putting them in the gas chambers or shooting them, they were just a number. That's all they were. And my question for you now, are you just a social security number or a number, or are you a human being? Think about that. Speak your piece when you vote or whatever you feel. With grace and love. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening in on my soapbox. I hope I've given you food for thought. So there's a couple of things before we go to any inquiries and any messages, and I'd like to share with you that on every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, it's called Soul Awakening. Ask any question you so desire, and I will tell you. Hopefully, I could answer them, and if I can't, I'll tell you. And then I deliver a 10-minute message. But what's really important, you gain new knowledge, or maybe you've forgotten it. I've had people, oh, I know all this stuff. Well, Michael, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Just to remind you, if nothing else. And this is done on freeconferencecall.com, which means you can be in your pajamas or whatever you desire to be in. I'll never know. Gio, give them that telephone number and the information.
Absolutely, Michael. That number is 202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound. One more time, please.
202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound. And I want to share this, but the 10-minute message. But before I give you that, because that's another telephone number, using that telephone number and using that code, the second Saturday of every month, it's my pet, we send healing to the mass consciousness on this planet. And goodness knows, True Source knows, we need it desperately. And the response that we receive, people say, wow, I feel so good, because you actually become a conduit for the energy of love. And remember, nothing negative can live in the energy of love. And we've seen Jesus join us, and Krishna, the Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and some family members and others join us, and your guardian angels, and so on and so forth. And it starts at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. 9:55 a.m. Pacific to 11:01 Pacific. Gio, give them that information one more time, how to join us.
You dial in 202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound. Join us. Also, I would like to share something that's really important. As I said to on Tuesday evening, when it's Soul Awakening, I leave a 10-minute message. And that is recorded on two ways. One is recorded on Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube, and it's a limited recording. It's one of my favorite models that True Source gave me, with an award-winning photographer by an award-winning post. I'm floating an award-winning picture, like what you think you create, what you create, you experience. And I'll talk about that or whatever it is. And it's really important that all of you enjoy the photographs, enjoy the information, and reflect upon it, because it will change your life. And if you're going to call in to get the message, which I suggest, there are about 415 different messages, and they're not indexed. So you're going, well, what one should I listen to, Michael? And as I tell everybody, I forgot to label them True Source. No, you didn't. You want to read through that many? Just tell them. Let their soul pick a number. So maybe you get 212, number 97, whatever it is, and just listen to it. And the feedback I got, just what I needed. I was feeling real down. Thank you, Michael. Do you give them that information?
The recording number is 434-300-4170. And the access code, Michael?
125-446 pound. One more time.
Absolutely. That number is 434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. It starts at number 3 and goes up to 419 or 420. I'm not sure, but they'll ask you, and just punch the number in and enjoy. And if you're stuck in traffic, or you're sick or ill, or you're frustrated or angry, it will change your mood and change your thoughts. Please take advantage of that. Also, to remind everyone, share this podcast that we're doing every Thursday evening at from 7 to 7:30. Maybe we run over a little bit Pacific time. And I also want to offer all of you a complimentary session. And I would ask all of you, if you haven't experienced it, please take advantage of it. No, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm just going to listen, offer some suggestions, and I'll end up by saying, if you want information, want to work, just let me know, and I change the subject. And if you never call me again, that's fine. You call me 5 years later, which has happened, that's fine too. So it's all up to you, whatever you want to do. But information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Power creates our life. So I would ask all of you to take advantage of that. And Theo, is there any comments or questions that people have experienced?
We do have a couple of comments. Inga was saying, you're speaking my language, being robbed of thousands of dollars and the banks rarely protect you. She's getting ready to pull her funds out. I can't really blame her. She also says that we're all feeling like numbers anymore, people forgetting names. It's like I went through something just recently that I had to double check the number on because, are they applying to me? Because my name was never on that message. It was just a number. And I thought, well, we're really getting, has it come to that point where we're either a number or a social security number? And I don't like that feeling because we've lost our uniqueness then. So I'm all for exactly what you're saying. And here comes a couple more comments. She says, if I go down, I want to go down on my own merits, not just as a number, if that makes sense. And not to sound negative, but I don't want to be part of the system. And then she says, well, okay, that didn't come out quite right. But talking about taking back our own power, for lack of better words, is important. So she thanks you, Michael, for sharing your thoughts. I agree with you because I don't think we should be labeled as a number. We've lost our own individuality and we bring so much value to the planet when we listen to our soul, right?
Correct. Yes, thank you.
I have one question for you. For those
Sure.
those people who have never actually taken advantage of your complimentary consultation, would you let them know how to define when their soul is talking to you and when the ego is talking to them? How do they tell the difference and what can they do to stop it?
Well, the easiest way, there are many ways, but the easiest way is when it's your soul, it has to justify it. So it'll give you reasons why. All right, when it's your ego. For example, should I buy that coat? Oh, the price is right. You'll look good in it, blah, 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 blah. And then you're looking at the coat and it's your soul. Should I buy the coat? Yes. Or it won't give you any excuses. There'll be silence. That's how you know. Ego has to justify and make excuse for everything, whether it's good or bad for you. Whereas your soul, I've gone into store and I heard, buy this tool. Well, I used to live on a farm 50 minutes away from a Home Depot or a Lowe's. And I'd see this tool. I heard, buy the tool. Well, I'm smart enough to know I've learned the hard way. I buy the tool. 11 months it sat in my toolbox. All of a sudden I need it on a Sunday at 3:30 in the afternoon. It's stormy out and I need it now. And I used it and it was perfect. Thank you, True Source. Thank you, Soul. So don't ignore it when you get this intuitive feeling or emotional or gut feeling, whatever you want to call it, to buy something or do something. There's a reason, even if it doesn't happen tomorrow. However, remember, if it is your ego or your imagination, it will always give you a plethora of reasons, whether you need it or not. Even, it'd be nice to have it. You should buy it. You'll impress people. Ego. Other than that, yeah, just purchase it. No reason why. All right. Or you'll need it. But remember, just and justify. Because your soul will never, ever, ever steer you wrong. Your ego will, but never your soul. I hope that answers that question. So what was
absolutely perfect.
What was the part two you wanted me to ask? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Part two, if you realize it's your ego, what do you do to stop it and, from bothering you again?
Well, the easiest way is you never argue with your ego because it'll fight back. Go ego, I don't want to hear it. You hear it over and over and over and over again. The simplest way is thank you, ego. I appreciate you. I'll get back to you. You may say it once or 3 or 4 times. You'll go and relax and you'll be able to continue. If you say, go away, ego, I don't want it, good luck. It'll keep coming back. Give you all an example. I don't want all of you to think of a yellow lemon. I don't want you to think of a yellow lemon that's sour and sitting in front of you. Maybe it's got a few pits, and maybe you're tasting the sour and a little bit drooling down the side of your lip. Don't even think about it. Just close your eyes. Try that and see how that works. But if you turn around and said, oh, I'm thinking of a yellow sour lemon. Okay, I'll get back to you later. I'll have one later. And you know what? The energy just disappears. So it's slow. Nothing works 100%, but when it works 99.5%, that's really great. You know why it doesn't work the other 0.5%? Because you're stubborn. You're trying to prove a point. And I guarantee you, if you're trying to prove what I'm saying wrong, you're 100% right. You will succeed. And remember, what you think you create, what you create, you experience. Because that's what your life is about. All about what you've created to experience. Any other questions to you?
There's no more questions, but I have a little quick summary. What I understand that you've been sharing with us today basically is the choices that we make today when we listen to our soul will impact our future in a way much far, far greater than if we listen to our ego. Ego has led me down the bumpy road so many times and I've fallen on my face. But always, always listen to your soul. Right, Michael?
Correct. Yes. All right. Well, thank you. Hey, this is the time to talk about something very close to our hearts. This is a book written by Tia Knapp, Healing the Holes in Your Soul, as she talks about going from gutter to grace. And that's so important. It's all about the trials and tribulations, as I say, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, the feelings of mental, emotional, and spiritual imprisonment, of feeling no choices in life, of feeling like being in a jail, and then realizing that you are the sole creator of your life and I can change. And she went through what we call the fire, hell, and she was reborn like the mythological bird, the phoenix, and found a way to overcome and re-empower herself, but to share a story for all those that are stuck, that there is a light of the tunnel. This is a must read.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for your kind words. And I will also quote you on saying, this is a must read. The Spiritual Primer by Dr. Michael Gross, who wrote the foreword in the book that he's holding. And this gentleman sitting virtually next to me is what changed my life. He truly, truly, truly is the greatest gift that has ever come into my life. And had it not been for Dr. Michael and this amazing book, the book he's holding wouldn't even be in existence. But I have to say that there are so many golden nuggets in this book, and you owe it to yourselves to get your hands on a copy of this, because it can change your life. Even if you think your life is perfect, it can always be ever growing more perfect. Right, Michael?
Absolutely.
Start with this book and get together with Michael. His contact information is in the comments. All his numbers are there, and you will not regret it. And what I like to say is, freedom begins within. Don't live in your regrets. Move forward, step out of them, and see just how boldly your life can unfold in a more beautiful way when you listen to the thoughts of your soul. Thank you so much, Michael, for waking me up and waking up my soul.
You're welcome. Thank you. So before we can conclude, I just want to thank everybody for being here. And a thought just came to me, a quote from the True Source, and that is, think about this. Are you a slave of your fears or master of your life? Think about that. So everyone, I wish you a great week. I wish you joy. I wish you happiness, perfect health, and the awakening of your soul to do your mission and goal, because you are unlimited. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Namaste.
I love you.
We love you.
See you next
Invite
week.
your friends. Invite your friends.
Namaste.